Hi guys, I am Prathamesh Welling and today we will be discussing about product life cycle management. This is the subject for you all in 7th semester for all the branches of engineering. Let's understand what is product. Have you ever wondered or look around and see that every single thing is a product? A to Z we are surrounded by product 360 degrees. From an apple to a zip of your pants is a product. From the mirror in the morning to the bed at the bedtime is a product. From a motorcycle to mobile is a product. So, don't you think it is exciting to learn about products? Since you are surrounded everywhere, product managers have huge demand in market. Let's go step by step, right? Let's understand what is product life cycle. Product life cycle has 4 main stages. The introduction of the product into the market, where you make the market aware what kind of product and services you have. The second is the growth, where you infuse money and make sure that your product penetrates across all the markets and reach to your target audience. 3 is maturity. This is tough. If you have already enough sale into the market, to maintain that sale against the competition is tough. We will learn strategies, how do we go about it. And the 4th stage is decline. There are 2 more stages. One is how the product is innovated or conceptualized, and at the last we have a step where the product is extended into a different version, or we have a line extension or a product extension. We are going to study some more things apart from just the life cycle of the product, that is product designing, how a product is virtually designed, how it is actually designed. We will take some practical examples to understand and get this concept right into our head. We will learn some part of the concurrent engineering and so on and so forth. In all, this is going to be a very exciting subject, and guess what? I am going to come as a visiting faculty to teach you the same. So opt for this subject and see you soon. Thank you.
Hello students, today I am going to brief you about reliability engineering, an institute level elective subject. Reliability engineering is important for all branches of engineering, be it civil, mechanical, mechatronics, electronics and telecommunication, electronics, or even IT or computer science. Reliability is the ability of an item or a system or a software program to perform a required function under a stated condition for a stated period of time. When I say stated conditions, it means normally worst condition, and when I say stated period of time, it means as long as possible. So it is basically a probability of success over a long period of time. But it is not only this, it deals with how we can reduce failure of a product or a system, and what are the design aspects we should consider to increase the reliability or the ability of a system for long time. The system can be a simple item, or it can be a product consisting of thousands of items such as satellite, a ship or an aircraft, or an engine, or a dam, or a building. How to elongate the lifetime of a system, what are the critical components, where we should include the redundant component, so that when a component will fail, this redundant component will work and we can increase the longevity of a product. What should be the design and testing criteria, what will be the maintenance cost to enhance reliability and availability of a system. We will study various aspects of reliability engineering to enhance the availability of a product and to enhance its duration, which we call as availability. As every company wants its product to be reliable and operate over a long time, an engineer with the knowledge of reliability engineering will be an asset for a company. So it has good scope for recruitment also. Now the subject is quite easy with bit of mathematics and engineering concept. It has 6 modules. Module 1 deals with concept of probability. Module 2 deals with reliability concept, how to analyze failure data and various failure and reliability models. Module 3 deals with system reliability, reliability of a series or parallel or mixed configuration. Module 4 deals with reliability improvement and various methods to analyze system reliability. Module 5 deals with maintainability and availability analysis of repair versus replacement. Module 6 deals with failure mode, its effect and critical analysis, fault tree analysis, event tree analysis, etc. I hope this provides you a good brief or good idea about the reliability engineering, and you will be able to give your choice. Thank you.
Hello friends, hope that you are safe and sound and staying at home in these difficult times. Most of us would be watching daily news on our television sets or viewing the same news on the internet across the world. Every day we are getting some data regarding the COVID infected patients or the patients who have recovered or the fatality rates, which can be national wide, state wise, region wise, age wise or city wise, etc. All this data is converted to information which in turn acts as a management information system for the respective governments and the authorities to take appropriate and adequate steps in terms of the measures for this disease. Similarly, in all engineering faculties and engineering businesses, all the data which is captured using all the tools or manually act as information for those respective engineering departments to take a call for the required steps to be taken in terms of development, improvement of the respective businesses. This is management information system. In the next sessions during your final year, I would.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. C.M. Chaudhary, Head Mechanical Engineering Department. I am going to discuss with you about the institute level elective. The course name is Design of Experiment. Design of Experiment is a multidisciplinary course. It has a versatile application in all the fields. Now we will be looking about the small information about the design of experiments, and this information probably will help you to decide which institute level course can be useful for you. Design of experiment is a systematic method to determine the relationship between factors affecting a process and the output of that process. In other words, it is used to find cause and effect relationship. This information is needed to manage process input in order to optimize the output. Design of experiment is a powerful data collection and analysis tool that can be used in a variety of experimental situations. In short, what we have seen is that any system can have an input, can have an output as a response of that system. Now, you can have multiple inputs which governs the performance of a system. So, at what level these input parameters are required to be controlled so that the output is more desirable to the user. That is what will be the more important things what we will be studying in the design of experiment. Experiment was coined by Sir Reynold A. Fisher in 1920. It allows manipulating multiple input factors and determining their effect on a desired output, that is a response. By changing multiple inputs at a time, DOE helps to identify important interaction that may be missed when experimenting with only one factor at a time, and that is a traditional approach. When you looked at a traditional system, what do is that we perturb one parameter at a time and we try to look at the system and its behavior, but that is altogether highly time consuming. Whereas in case of DOE, it allows you to perturb multiple parameters at a time and get to know about the response of that system. Here, one can investigate all the possible combinations in the experiment, and that is called as a full factorial design. Or one can carry out the work by considering the few of them and that is called as a fractional factorial experiment. The various steps involved in design of experiments starts with set the objective, nothing but define the problem statement, select the process variables, select an experimental design, execute the design, check that the data are consistent with experimental assumptions, analyze and interpret the results, use and present the result in the form of a chart or graph. Applications. Design of experiment has been used in many years in manufacturing industry. Below are some of the benefits, improvements we can expect from conducting design of experiments. Reducing time to design, develop new product and processes, improve performance of existing processes, improve reliability and performance of product, achieve product and process robustness, evaluation of materials, design alternatives, setting component and system tolerances, etc. Let's try to understand this design of experiment with some example. Let's take an example of a popcorn. We all know a good quality of popcorn can be attributed to many factors. The first factor to which it attributes is the grade of the corn used. Let's say in the experiment we decided the 3 grades of the corn, that is the best quality corn, medium and low quality. Then the time for which it is baked, so we consider a small, medium and large amount of duration. Let's consider the temperature at which it is baked, so low, medium and high temperature. The very importantly, the taste of the popcorn get governed because of the amount of flavor which has been added into it. So how much the quantity of flavor to be added into popcorn? So let's decide some quantity again as a low, medium and high. Now if you look at, I have said about the 4 different parameters and I have considered 3 different variation of each of the parameters. Now one need to identify only one thing. What is that? The best quality of the popcorn. So to get the best quality of the popcorn, what should be the grade of the corn? What should the amount of flavor added into it? At what temperature it should be baked? And for how much time it should be baked? Altogether, when they have been considered in proper permutation and combination, we can get the statistical experiment done and we arrive to a conclusion in a short while. And that's the strength of design of experiment. As compared to conventional practice, where we have seen that when you vary one factor at a time, the entire experimental range become highly intrinsic. It takes a lot of time and you never know about the interaction between the 2 parameters. That remains always unanswered. However, in case of design of experiment, you can consider the interactive effect, that it may possible the flavor and the time together can contribute something. So considering the interactive effect as well as the individual effect and then arriving to the best quality of the popcorn. So this can be the simplest way of executing a experiment for making the best quality of the popcorn. Let me give you another example. Now we will talk about little technical example. Let's consider a machining process, a typical lathe machine process, where the kind of process we follow is a turning process. Now the objective of this turning process is to remove the material and achieve the best quality of surface finish. This best quality of surface finish depends on the speed of the machine and the depth of the cut. Let us consider that there can be n number of factors, but out of which we have considered only few significant factors which can contribute more towards the surface finish of the machine. Now we decide again the level of variation for these two factors, that is speed of machine and depth of cut. It can be high and low. It means high speed, low speed, high depth of cut, low depth of cut. Now if you looked at that, there happen to be a 4 permutation and combinations which is happening. Now how to decide that whether the low speed with high depth of cut is going to give me the best surface finish, or high speed with high depth of cut is going to give me the best surface finish, or vice versa. So all these things can be easily answered by following the scheme given into design of experiment, and we perform the experiment by following the concepts given into design of experiments. This subject will have a lot of applications. You will get to know how to analyze the given system towards improving its performance. Many of you are fond of automobiles. You need to know that what can be the way by which the same automobile can deliver the best performance. The best performance, what we understand in a general manner, is the highest fuel economy. Whether should I run the automobile always at the second gear? Should I keep the throttle up to this much level? Should I keep the air pressure so much? There should be one person sitting only. The weight should not be more than this, or something like that. So many permutation and combination can be considered in a very heuristic way, and one can arrive to the best possible way in a statistical manner to get the best quality of combination which will provide the more and more mileage from the same automobile. See, here we are not perturbing the design of the automobile. We are considering the same automobile which is there available, but we are trying to decide the range of the performing parameters which can be operated in such a way by which one can get to know about the better and better performance and thereby the efficiency of the same machine. Thank you.
Hello. Well, this is Dr. Rajesh Javre, working with Department of Mechanical Engineering at Tirna Engineering College. I have been graduated in Mechanical Engineering and 26 years of experience in the field of Industrial Engineering and Mechanical Engineering with various colleges. Last year I have handled this OR as elective, and we are here today to discuss and introduce the elective subject Operations Research for the next academic year. We are offering as an elective. So as such, going to the curriculum of University of Mumbai, it is a 100 marks course having three lectures per week, and the entire syllabus has to be covered in 36 to 39 hours. So in fact, now what is OR is about? You must be curious to know what is OR and why the institution is offering this subject as one of the important subject. OR is actually a method of analysis which aids management in decision making, and it is concerned with the application of the principles and the methods of science of problems of strategy. In fact, if you want to know the history of operations research was born during the Second World War, World War II, and it was used for the military applications that time. During World War II, the group of scientists having representative from the scientific and the mathematics, statistics, physical and social sciences background, and they were actually interested to study the various military operations. And this team was very successful and greatly contributed to the meticulous handling of entire operation and related problems of the operations through linear programming problems. OR is used in the range of application right from the queuing models to LPP, game theory, waiting line theory, to simulation. There are so many topics that we are going to discuss, and all these topics are having practical importance in the field of engineering, field of industrial engineering. Now we would like to throw some light on the what is the scope of OR as such. Being a student, being a knowledge of the this subject as a student of industrial engineering, and so field of industrial engineering or OR is regarded as the first technique to solve issues related to procurement of material to the dispatch of finished products by optimizing the use of resources. The another important recent applications in the organized development that OR has solved successfully many cases of research for military, government and industries. Operations research approach has also a great scope as an economist, statistician, administrator and the technicians working in the team to solve the societal problems. Operations research also helps in operations management, the manufacturing management area. Now, what is manufacturing management? In the manufacturing management, it's the use of utilization of resources from the customer satisfaction point of view to the management of resources, providing the goods and services, design, operations, systems for manufacturer, transport, supply chain, and the other services. So these are some of the important applications of operation research. Now, when you as a students go with a knowledge of operations research into a field, that what kind of scope you will find and which are the different application or the functional areas you can find use of operations research. Now, the first application that I would like to make you known about is the finance sector, the finance, budgeting and investment, wherein the activities like cash flow, long range capital requirements, investment portfolios, dividend portfolios, claim procedures, credit policies. So these are some of the activities that are very, very important from the point of view of the operations, wherein operation research helps. The another area of scope which finds its applications of OR is marketing field, marketing and demand forecasting. The activities like product selection, competitive actions, number of salesmen, frequencies, which salesman is to be sent to which geographical area for maximizing his efficiency and improving and increasing the sales. So this is the application of it requires a lot of data and information, and the cost has to be reduced. So the marketing and the sales has to be increased. So this is with the point of view of a marketing function. Then the another most important function you will find the OR application is inventory, purchasing and procurement, wherein the buying policies, the determination of qualities, the quantities, qualities and the timing of purchases, bidding policies, replacement policies, exploitation of a new resources. So these are the applications. So there are some deterministic models, there are some probabilistic models which will help to know how much is the quantity to be bought, when that quantity is to be bought. So these are all nothing but the OR applications. The another most important area is production management, productions and operations management, wherein the OR is finding its scope from the physical distribution point of view, right? The location and the sizes of warehouses, distribution of distribution of centers, retail outlets, distribution of policies, facilities planning, number of locations of factories, warehouses, etc., loading and unloading facilities. Then the another application is in the pure manufacturing. In the pure manufacturing, the production scheduling and sequencing, stabilization of production, employment, layoffs, and the optimum product mix, maintenance policies, project scheduling, allocation of resources, sequencing. These are also the important areas of applications of the operation research. The another area you can find is logistics and supply chain management, transportation. The logistics and transportation from the point of view of the distance matrices, cost matrix, which will help to decide upon the minimizing the cost of transportation, and the knowing the capacities of the plants, availability of the and the what amount of what quantity of material can be supplied to which particular location or market from which particular plant. Then another important area is also healthcare applications, which is a recent one, right from the simulation to data mining to data analysis to demand forecasting. You won't find any field where we are not using the OR as such a technique. So all the fields of industries, government departments, as well as military applications, OR was useful in the previous time, and OR is also equally useful in the present time. So this is all about the small introduction of a OR subject as an elective, which will be helping you to enrich and gain some knowledge about the techniques which are used in the industrial engineering. I hope this presentation will help you to make a choice amongst the electives which are offered by the institution. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Hello friends, hope you are safe and sound and staying back at your place. There was a premise few years ago that the new age warfares would not be fought in person, but they would be more of a biological warfare or an information warfare. The current situation that we are going through is typically like a biological warfare. But don't be surprised if we also encounter an information warfare in the near future. With the advent of IT, telecommunications and internet, more and more businesses have started using IT as a core business function. Most of the business information is either stored in various data centers across the world in forms of storage devices or cloud, or they are spread across the world over different networks. The businesses do this either because of insufficient storage space or their business policies, or to save the money or the expense for storing this information. Because of this, the information regarding and relating to the business is more and more vulnerable to different known and unknown risks, threats and vulnerabilities with respect to information security. To protect business information and to run the businesses smoothly, there are various guidelines, frameworks, rules and regulations and standards which are developed, drafted and implemented across the world. There are various tools and techniques which are developed to understand what are the risks and how to protect the information from those risks. In the upcoming semester, we will be talking about all of this in detail in the subject called as CSL, which is Cyber Security and Laws. We will also be talking about what is a cyber crime and what are the different ways that the cyber crime is committed. We will also discuss about the impact of the cyber crime on the businesses and the outside world. We will also try to understand the various security compliances in terms of information security, along with the India's IT Act with all the relevant amendments. Hello, my name is Dr. Kaustubh Gondhalekar and I will be talking about all of this in detail in the upcoming semesters. Thank you, stay safe, stay at home.
Hello everybody. While designing the syllabus of electrical engineering program, there is a need to include energy auditing and management course. The importance of this energy audit and management is that every electrical engineer must know how electricity is utilized, how it is consumed, how the energy consumption can be measured. As you know, the energy is one of the important factor which is required for the sustainable development of the country, and it is duty of electrical engineer to provide a secured, reliable and stable energy to all customers. Nowadays the demand is increasing by 7 to 8% every day, that is every year, and it is not possible to install the new plants to meet the required demands. So there is a need to minimize the losses and to make the effective use of electricity by utilizing new technologies, and even this is required to reduce the electricity bill for the various customers. The objective of this course is to know the fundamentals of energy conservation, energy auditing and the energy management. Also to know how to evaluate the various utilities such as electrical utility, thermal utility and the chemical utilities, because this evaluation is required to find out the energy conservation opportunities and the energy conservation measures. The outcome of this course is the student should know how to make the audit, how to take the details of energy consumption, that is energy consumption patterns of different electrical loads, to know the methodologies, that is audit methodologies, different types of audits and the energy management systems. Now in this course the different subjects are included, like energy scenario, that is the present energy scenario worldwide, countrywide, that what is the energy generated and what is the requirement of energy. Then the various audit principles, that how to make the audit. There are different types of audits, that is walkthrough audit, detailed energy audit. That students should know the energy conservation and energy management systems in electrical utilities and the thermal utilities and their performance evaluations. That even electrical engineer should know how to conserve the electricity in the various buildings. As we know, the electrical energy is utilized for the various sectors. For example, industrial sector, agricultural sector, that electricity is used in transportation, in corporations, in electric railways. And to meet the demand of all these, there is a need to measure the electrical consumption and identify the various energy opportunities and energy conservation opportunities to minimize the demand and to meet the demand which is increasing day by day.
Good morning, friend. Today we will discuss the course called Development Engineering. This is a course as an elective for the last year student of the engineering. If you see the Indian population, 65% population live in rural India, and out of 65% population, 23% population of the rural India live in a poverty. The literacy rate of the rural India population is 68%, where the female literacy is less as compared to the male literacy. In rural India, there are lots of problems, like not a proper education system there. Higher education is one of the biggest concern. Health is concern. Employment is also concerned. There are the limited livelihood option for the rural Indian population. Infrastructure is very low as compared to the urban India. And the governance system. If you go to the village, the whole governance is managed by the one or two family of the particular village. if you see the GDP of the total India, the 13% GDP is contributed through the agriculture. And after the 1990, there are lots of increase of the service and other sectors as compared to the urban sector in rural India. As per the NSO's data, the agriculture laborer are decline and most of the laborer are migrate to the urban India. The background of this course is that if you see there are the interconnection between the rural and urban India, linkage of urban and rural labor market, growing rural purchasing power and rising aspirations of the rural people. Smallholder farming has become a bedrock of the rural life. Increasing agriculture commercializations and most of the farmer are taking the cash crop. Rise in rural non-farm employment like construction worker and other allied service worker. Exploitations of the natural resources is very high, and failure of the government system for providing social service to the rural populations. The objective of the course is that to understand about the rural reality, create a group of sensitive, responsible and professional who will add value to the existing set knowledge, policy, practice and approach for rural development. Trained professional working for reducing regional inequality and social deprivation in rural India. The purpose of the course is to develop a strong conceptual and analytical framework to students and sensitizing students on rural reality as well as rural development. To create a group of professional engineers having a cutting edge knowledge of modern engineering with appropriate skill. To develop appropriate attitude and value along with the appropriate knowledge and technology to developing a professional engineer. This is the purpose of the course, and in this course we will cover the following course, like we will share the informations and to make more understanding about the Indian rural society, their caste and class structure in a rural society, history of the caste structure, etc. Concept of rural development, what mean by development and growth we will discuss in a classroom. Efforts of individuals and organizations working on a rural development, this will be divided between pre-independent and post-independent. There are lots of rural development movement in India like Sarodaya, etc. We will teach all this movement in this course. In Indian constitutions, there are special recommendations and constitutions required to fulfill for the rural development. We will cover the Indian constitutions and the concept of the rural development in this course. Government efforts for the rural development through 5-year plans and other institutions like NABARD, Health Ministry, Rural Development Ministry, etc. for the rural development. Rural governance and history of the rural administrations and governance, and especially after the 73 amendment, what are the women participation in a rural governance, technology and rural development, values and principle for the rural development. This course is help student to understand the other real part of the India. So it is a request to all students, please join this course. Thank you.
I am Prathamesh Welling. I am a market research and analytics professional. Also, I am a founder and director to Magic Business Ventures Private Limited. And today we will be discussing about disaster management. Well, the subject and the topic seems to be really very heavy. But trust me, it is not that difficult to study this. What is disaster? Do you know that there are two types? One is the natural disasters and the man-made disaster. Natural disasters are of course earthquake and natural calamities, COVID-19, and man-made disasters are nuclear, chemical reactors and so on and so forth. Whatever hazardous is there. So let's understand what is going to happen in this subject. This subject has a lot of frameworks, lot of administrative policies which we will study, a lot of decisions and how the decisions are taken by central government and state government in the case of disaster management, what are the protocols and how this entire thing is being managed properly, how the disaster is being controlled. It is a very nice subject, more theory pendant, but I'm sure you will have fun at the end of the day. Thank you.